I got short at the 10:30 high at 74.02 and 74.04. Retest to do that right up here and retested yesterday's low. I did take it at the overnight low, and I quickly exited that one for like a 3 or 4 point loss. I just got out. It just, like, you can tell in the order flow, it was just going to run everybody over. There's too many people piling in there. But so instead I looked for this stack right here where we had VWAP, yesterday's low, the 9 period, and the 21 period moving average. I thought that was a pretty good spot to reassert it. Also, we were a little bit deeper into the window, so that kind of made sense to me there and then that's when the machine crashed, so that wasn't fun. But here we are.
Watching video to see if it breaks its low. It's acting like.
What do you got, Bo? Anything going on?
What's that?
You got anything on?
Yeah, I'm short.
Okay, good. Yeah, I figured that. I figured Bo's got to be short. He's got to be loving this right now.
No, I took the reversal trade long, which was per my setup rules, and took my stop, and then I got short again because I could see this is playing out.
All right, that's cool.
Thing, so
yeah, as long as you stick to process, right? That's everything. If you're just joining us, Manny Pitbull Traders, we're tracking the ES. We got the liquidation break that we outlined in the pre-market open. Price then looked below the overnight low. It retraced. We tried a short there. It didn't stick. We tried it again up at the moving averages at VWAP, up at the retest of yesterday's low, 74.10, and we're moving lower now. My average fill is 74.02. And I've got it in 2 accounts. So I got 74.05 and 74.02, looking for 73, 82, 50. Hopefully I get that one. That'll be a 20-point gain. Get me back some of those earlier losses, some of that earlier stop I just took out. So looking for that. It's very characteristic of an S4 day, though, for sure. Yeah, just the writing was on the table here, so I'm according, like Bo was just speaking about process and sticking to his system and stuff, and that's basically what I'm doing here. I kind of jumped the gun though at shorting at the overnight low, but you know what? If it would have sold off, I would have been right as rain, and that's just trading. You put the risk on. You got to take the risk in order to make the coin. And so I retried it up a little bit deeper in our execution clock window, but the execution clock is just nothing else like it. Gives us that window. I did jump the gun on it a little bit when I took that first short. That was roughly at it was at 10 a.m. So it was like right at the open of that window. Should have waited. I think it's very important to trade later in those windows, but heads up here, we have negative 2.5 to 1 negative on the NYSE. So internals are confirming the move lower. NASDAQ's lower. Russell's lower. The VIX is on its highs. It's up 2.5%, gapped up. Kind of expecting that. Let's see. We have Tesla lower, NVIDIA lower, Apple's just flat. Okay, got that target, 8250 plus 20 points. Bingo. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Looking for further prices, looking for further lows. Let's map out some other lows. Let's see. We have a support at 73, 76 to 72. So I'm looking to shave off something ahead of that. Not going to be greedy here. Got a nice winner. And for you guys trading evaluations, remember, this is how you get funded. This is how you do it. You draw out your plan. You take calculated risk so you don't blow out the account. And once you hit that target and you get that funded account, you close it. And don't let these other prop firms encourage you. Like, trading more is not necessarily better. You only need one funded account. You really only need one. Um, uh, get good at one, perfect your system, pass, and then build from there.
You can see a large bid at 79. There's 1,000 lot bid. I'm guessing that prints. Oftentimes that big size is sort of like gravitational pull.
Remember, on these days too, you get these really, really, really strong retracements. So if you're not in on this move, stay patient. If you're trading your evaluation or your funded account, don't jump in here, because those accounts have the drawdowns are the drawdowns are such that you can't really handle that much volatility. So you want to try to work on perfecting your entries so that you don't suffer these larger drawdowns. Looks like we got a stack there at the low, 73.80. And now we're getting a liquidation retracement, which kind of makes sense. Let's see. Oh, I have this off. Coming right back down again, staying short in the other account. I have 4 short in that one, so I'm not touching that.
See how the 1,000 lot is gone? So they were showing 1,000 at 79. He might have been the buyer that swept that little 5-point pop.
Looking at a support at 74th, 73, 72 to 73, 76. So we're coming into that now. Let me just make sure I have this.
The 5-day moving average on my sheet is 78.
The 5-day moving average, Bo, you just mentioned. What is that? Can you give us for the folks that are watching maybe on mobiles and on their phones and stuff, what time frame is that and what period are you looking at? Can you just repeat that for them?
Yeah, actually, it looks like the YouTube dropped off. Did you know that?
Should be back up now.
All right, let me see. Okay, cool. Yeah, I see it now.
Is it? Yeah, I had to restart the whole thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so just on a daily chart, 5-period moving average. It was just
okay. So yeah, Bo's looking at a 5-day moving average on a daily chart, and that number comes in where, Bo?
78 on the ES.
Okay.
On NQ, it comes in at 860.
All right, we're wicking here quite a bit. We made a low down there at 73.80, trading 73.86. Just taking a look at SPYGATE. SPYGATE has been pretty much on the sell for most of the day, for most of the morning, I should say. And if price trades up to about 90, I have a buy stop in there to protect 10 points on the trade. Always just being mindful of controlling the risk. I want to stay in the move for as long as possible. However, I want to make sure that I kind of stick to the money management, make sure I get paid out on it. So just sharing that there. Narrow miss there, but we'll see what happens here.
I'm waiting for this bar to close, and then I'll try to add to my short at a retest of the high of this bar on the 1 minute
And what
chart.
bar is that, Bo?
That's on the 1 minute chart.
Okay, so Bo's looking at a 1 minute chart. He's looking at a retest of what is that high, Bo? You know, can you what's the price on there?
Currently 90 3/4, so I'm going to offer 90 1/4 as soon as this bar closes, with a very tight stop on my whole position.
Check.
There it is. See if I get filled.
There you go.
Okay, 90 1/4, so 87 1/4 on one, 84 1/4 on one. And I just want this basically to go straight down my way without looking back and without violating now that little pivot high. If it does violate it, then, you know, we could be off to the races on the upside. I'm flat.
All right, I just got my trail stop hit, so plus 10 points on that scale. Someone trailing. I'm going to stick this one out, but this is the ad. So usually the ads have the worst fill. That's just the nature of it. That's just what it is. That is just what it is. See here, let's drill down. Take a look here. All right. Oh, I thought I had that stop in. I didn't. Test.
Grabbing a little more coffee. Be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Still in the window that so an ad would be justified. However, I don't want to. I'm not feeling that aggressive on the short side. It's just not how I roll. GDL points out. Thanks for calling it a day. Almost 200 NQ points done. Well done, GDL. Nice, bud. 200 NQ points. That's awesome. That's a great day. Go touch grass. Let's get this down to a 5 minute. Check out the look. Yeah, it looks like we're going to start balancing out here a little bit before we get another directional move, whether that be up or down. I mean, I think we could go up and retest the overnight low, 73.98.75. That's certainly possible here. Go up to 73.95 and then reassess from there. But that 95 trade would definitely get me out of my runner because I have to lock something in on the trade. So we'll see what happens here. Remember, even in down markets, you tend to get these really violent, up retracements higher. And I think that's what's underway here. Then just goes to prove you can. All right, so I got taken out there at 95. So I locked in 3 points on that runner. Looking to reload, see what we get. See if we can work our way a little bit. Ah, man, nope. Dang it. I just got wicked out, dude. That sucks. Yep. I got wicked out. That blows.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. I just got wicked out for 3 points. Nah.
Are
That
you
sucks.
short? Were you short?
I was short, and then I kind of I had to lock in something on it, right? So I locked in 5, dragged the stop down. Locked in 3 at 95, and I got wicked. It traded up to 97. I got wicked out, and it wicked right on my stop. So let's see. I'm contemplating a re-entry here. Still in the window for that high formation. So that's going to close in about 1 minute here. So just watching the delta, watching the ticks. We're in positive ticks, which hasn't happened very much today. See if we get a rejection from high ticks. 94s. All right. 84.
I'm looking for this candle on the 15-minute to print a doji, and then you get a doji reversal entry to go long above the high of that candle. Now it's a pretty big range for me on that candle, so I won't use the low of the day as my stop, because that's too tight of a stop for me. And it didn't really print the doji quite the way I like, so we may not get the rejection, but watch the NQ for it, because NQ, you've got a perfect setup here. So
I took 94 short, looking for 84s and 70, and I'm looking for 84 and 79, 78. That's the support zone right there. See if we get it. Again, and make sure, guys, my targets tend to be a little bit more spread out. That's why I don't have that many trades in a day. I feel like I'm already very active this morning. But I especially for when I'm trying to pass an evaluation or trying to get to a payday or a payout, I want to make sure that the risks that I take are worth it. I want to make sure that if I do enter, that there's going to be room for at least a 5, potentially a 10-point target. I know that the numbers on my system pretty well. So I know that on my system, if I'm trading a 3 lot, if I can get 5, 10, and 15 points, then I only need a 66% win rate. If I only get the first 2, if I get the first 3 targets, I only need a 33% win rate. If I only get the first 2, I need a 67% win rate. So it changes quite a bit. But I think what Bo was mentioning, I think what we're seeing here is kind of like that liquidation break on the higher time frame. Let's bug out. Let's check that out, because we kind of had some levels here that we were looking at, right? So we were looking at a potential reclaim of that 73.93 low. We just came up and tested it and broke lower. Again, I even though we did hit, my 1-year target up here at 74.50, it's hard to say. I don't fall into that camp of trying to, pick out, if this the top. However, I do Elliott wave analysis, and this is a 5 of 5 of 5, which, if you know Elliott wave, that's a pretty big inflection point. A 5 of 5 of 5. So yeah, I mean, I'm at a 74.50, 475 was the high. But remember, tops form, bottoms happen. All right, still monitoring it here. I don't think let's monitor here for a break. It's hard pressed to think that we just break lower. Sorry for switching back and forth on the charts. I just like these different looks. I always like to have that one eye on the higher time frame, and you can see here we just kind of tested that zone that we mapped out for a higher low on our higher time frame. Again, we're not catching falling knives. We're just doing the work, doing the technical analysis, staying alert, making sure we have our bearings on the charts and where price is in relationship to the trend. All right, so let's see. Came down pretty close to that target and narrow miss there. Come on, baby. Let's go. Looking for 84s there for a 10-point fill. 79, 78 would get me 15. Unfortunately, I only have 2 on in this one, so it's always after the point. It's always after a trade works out that I wish my size were bigger. But when it's going against me, I'm like, whew, thank God I wasn't like 6 deep into this one. All right, and if you folks are just checking in, if you're just joining us, Manny from Pitbull Traders, I'm joined by Bo today. We're tracking the ES. Price just went up and tested near the overnight low, which was our kind of one of our levels that we were monitoring for what the day might look like. The overnight low was 73.98.75. We're trading lower. We have some shorts on. I know Bo is short. I'm short.
I'm long.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Bo's long. I'm short 73.94. Can you tell the folks where you long from, Bo?
87.5. I've got it on my screen here.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Looks like NVIDIA is going to try to break again, so I should get stopped out here, but we're having some divergence on the advanced declines. Tesla making a new low. Amazon eyeing lows.
Okay, boom. Just got the 84s filled. Just got the 84s filled. So got 10 points on that short. Looking for 78. I might be a little shallow, but we're gonna. I use time heavily. I use the execution clock for my exits. I try to. Of course, price rules everything, but I try to stay in alignment with that clock. If you want to learn more on it, it's on my X feed. Go check it out. But the clock is an important tool, right? It gives us price gives us one edge, right? So price tells us where, but time tells us when. And the one thing that I can point out about it is that so many of us can get the level right, but how often haven't we got the level right but been stopped out anyway? And just because we were a little early or missed the trade because we were a little late, the execution clock helps tremendously with that. And it also helps a lot with FOMO, right? So you can kind of, once you get to know it, you kind of rely on it. You know that, okay, I'll wait for this time frame to execute that idea where my probabilities are higher of that situation working out. Sorry, my allergies are just horrible. I have to protect this. I don't know what I'm doing down here, up there. And I hate trailing these moves so tight. I'm not a fan of tight stops, but risk management is risk management, right? Don't get to pick and choose. All right, looking at lower price action. We're retracing quite a bit here. Let's see if we get some follow through. Got another signal on the A4 algo, so that would be short right here at 73.87. Go ahead and follow that signal on this account.
Some buying coming into NVIDIA, and it held there. So if you're short, be careful. They could reclaim this and target the top of this 15-minute candle pretty easily.
Reverie says fade the double bogey. I don't know if that's a play on bow, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, the 15-minute doji signal is the reversal signal is has been a really good trade for me for quite a long time, and Rev is having fun with it. He coined it the boji. So I'll take that. Thanks, Rev.
Yeah, we're pretty extended here. Given that we had a 45-point overnight range, and we're into what 90 minutes of the trading day, and we are already at 37.50. I think Bo was saying it earlier. You can get these days where you get this like 100-point down move. And we often talk about how the ES, when it sells, it's a hot knife through butter. I should have been more alert to that. But you always got to be mindful of the traps. But we cut right through. We opened straight down, got through the overnight low, but this retracement, I took a stop there at the overnight low. In hindsight, of course, it looks dumb, but if it would have worked, I would have felt like a genius. No telling. Just manage the risk. Getting some follow through right here. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. I'm just going to go ahead and recalibrate this algo. Make sure that I'm getting out of it what I want, what I need. Going to go ahead and change the risk parameters a bit on it. Okay. Let's make sure that this thing is looking right as rain. All right, so we're good here. We're good to go there. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. Make sure that that's all set properly here. Let's see, 15-minute. Yep, I love Thinkorswim's charting. I prefer it over everything. It's looking good. It's moving lower. Bo, what's your favorite trading platform?
Delta.
What's your favorite? Sorry, so let me ask you this. What is your favorite execution platform? What is your favorite charting platform?
I use Delta mostly to trade.
To execute?
Yeah. And then I have TradingView as my charts.
Okay. Yep, TradingView is a fan favorite. It's a patent double bogey inside a Manny Diamond. That's hilarious. The odds are CL will bust out of the infield and down to first base foul line. Yeah. So if you guys are just tuning in, just joining us, that's in our that's coming from Reverie in our private community, and he's kind of chiding on me because I'm a baseball coach. So
Nice.
get ready for all the baseball analogies. You know, so many things that are trading related relate to, you know, just to baseball and coaching and preparing and training like a high level athlete. Like, so for instance, right? So we often think that, like, this is something that I constantly go through with myself, is that, so you have a professional athlete who trains, you know, for extended periods of time, weeks, sometimes for shorter things. Let's just call it the NFL, right? Or baseball. You train for, you practice every day for a week for that one big game. And then you go out there and you execute, you know, whatever your game plan was. Well, it's no different in trading, right? Where we come in and we practice, we review our charts, we analyze, but a professional athlete only has to execute that plan for the 90 minutes or the 2 hours of that game, where we sit at our desk and try to execute for 5.5 hours. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's important to know when you start tapping out, when your decision-making process starts to deteriorate somewhat, and when you're not at your best. And so it's important to know that, I think, because to manage our expectations of ourselves, right? And to know when, hey, maybe I should just take a timeout, step aside, take a breather, hydrate, reassess. And that's why, you know, I have for me personally, and some of the guys that I work with, I have stop loss protocol, which is basically after we have a stop, you know, that we feel that it has affected us in some certain way, whether we're bothered by it, hot under the collar, we tend to walk away from our desk for about 5 minutes, reset, hydrate, and come back at it with a fresh mindset. All right, so just looking at the profile here, we have single prints all the way up to 73.90. We're going to go ahead and change this out and make this a regular trading hours only chart. I don't think I'm interested much in the overnight session anymore, and if I do, I can always switch it back. You know what, Bo? That's a great idea on the coffee. I think I'm gonna go go reheat what's left of this morning's pot.
Nice.
Yep. I had a cup yesterday midstream, and it didn't miss. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Got to kind of reboot this thing here. So again, looking for that 74, 73, 76. I thought that was 73. 89. Oh, it should have been, yeah. Okay, that looks about right. Here's some SPYGATE action. You know, SPYGATE's pretty much been on a sell. Remember, guys, SPYGATE is a tool that tells us when institutional trading activity is happening, right? So it tells us, it alerts us when these large tranches, when these big batch orders get placed in the market, right? And these are large orders, 100 million, 200 million, and they let us know, they give us confirmation of moves, right? So here you can see that SPYGATE on this chart is working its way lower, more sells than buys, from what we can tell from the eye. And you get that. That is included if you purchase an evaluation, because at Pitbull Traders, we want you to pass your evaluations. We want to give you the right tools to trade with. All right, moving lower here. Looking for that. I don't know why I have these targets all mixed up, dude. What's going on? I need coffee, bro. I have to get some coffee. Seriously.
Get it, Manny. Get it.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about this target. 79 or 74. You gotta choose. What's the fill here? Hang on. The average is 7. Let me go 74.50. See if we can get that. I feel like I keep moving the goalpost though. All right, let me go grab some coffees, guys. Be right back. I don't have enough in this to really be moving out. What time is it? Time is important. Where are the ticks doing? Okie dokie. All right, BRB.
Advanced declines held there okay, and I was thinking we were going to get a sweeper on NVIDIA, and we still could, but NVIDIA also could be holding right here. If it trades back up to the 219 level or so, then you could get some buying coming in off of this 5-day moving average test. So I'm still long. I got long 82 3/4, which doesn't feel great at the moment, right? But I'm willing to add to it if we trade back up above and into that range. But obviously everything needs to sort of confirm. So the 78 level was the test of the 5-day moving average on the ES on my sheet. And on the NQ, it's 860. So we're still quite a ways above it. But on the NQ, the upsloping moving average, it's 29,190 for tomorrow's sort of projected. So we'll see what happens. If they give it up, they give it up. Well, that's what's nice about pit bull traders, Jimmy, right? You don't have to go to a trailing drawdown. If you buy an end of day trailing account, when you convert it to a performance account, it stays as an end of day trailing account. So that's one of the big benefits that I see that I like using. I think maybe people don't really know about that. Well, I tried adding to it here. It could be sort of adding right where I should be getting out, but we'll see. I've got two offered now at 87 3/4. I think I'll drop it to 87, two at 87 and two at 90 at an 84 entry here. So I could be a little early as well. So and it might just be the right spot. Like Jimmy's pocket aces are usually really good. So maybe I'll just flip it, but I think it's an okay spot to look for the reversal. It's just, I am seeing it in the advanced declines now, pushing back through that minus 1200 number. So if they can take out some stops right here, I should get filled pretty quickly at 87, but they could sweep it the other way as well. It's definitely not acting the way I want it to act. I'll give it another couple minutes here. I mean, it's acting more like, seller's market, short side. But we could get something going here. They so often just buy these dips. I mean, got a little bid coming into Amazon. Crude is coming back in a little, so if crude breaks back down through that 101.40 level, then it could be in pretty good shape here. But
thanks for holding down, Bo.
You betcha. Now we are seeing advanced declines roll back over some. And we may be getting another nice doji reversal opportunity. But we still have a few minutes before this 15-minute candle closes.
Hang tight, 2 seconds. Forgot the trading hat. Not sure what I was thinking. All right. All right. So stepped away. I was looking. I got a little greedy on that one. I think I extended my target down 73, 74. Talked about moving the goalpost. And when I walked away to get coffee, I was thinking to myself, so the one thing I try not to do, if I step away, I used to step away from my desk and look at price on my phone. And I try not to do that at all anymore because I like to see, I like to be surprised. Just put it that way. All right, so we're moving lower here. Things look good. Well, I'm sorry, Bo. Are you still long? I forget it. Were you long?
Sure. I got long here, looking for the reversal. Okay. I'm also looking for this 15-minute candle to possibly print a doji, and then have them run some stops up above that high of that candle.
Hourly chart is testing that support, that the top of that balance area from May 7th. Let's see what happens. There's a support down here at 73, 76, 73, 70. It's a band, so it's 73, 72 to 73, 76. If you're following the market blueprint, that's setup number 1. So yeah, and if you guys are following that trade plan, which I put out every day on my X feed at Manny_trends. So this is where it kind of gets weird for me, right? So I'm short into a support zone that I probably would be buying if I were flat. There's never a right answer for me. I've done both. Like I've covered my opposite position and reversed and got long, and it's failed. And I've covered and reversed, and I've been right. So there's no right or wrong answer. There's just how you choose to engage. Of course, with risk management always being the primary driver of my decisions. So looking for 76.50 here. Not sure why that should have been 73.79, but that's just so weird. Why would I do that? What was the thing? Maybe it was a prior fill, an ad. I don't know, but that would be a 13-point fill if I can get it. If I can get lucky enough to get a fill here. One thing I want to point our attention to is just the ticks. The ticks have been. Hang on, let me lock in on this order flow because they're pressing right here.
Target. All
right, got the target, guys. Plus 13 points on that one. So feeling great about that one. That was a little bit risky. But the one thing I want to highlight, guys, is going back to our constant reassessment. We have to constantly be analyzing data, constantly analyzing how the day is developing. And one thing we want to point out is just a look under the hood, right? So we're looking at the internals. They're a little bit more negative than they were before. So 2.5 to 1 negative on the NYSE. So what that means is that there are 2.5 stocks declining for every 1 stock advancing. And on the NASDAQ, there's 2.25 stocks declining for every 1 advancing. Okay. So furthermore, to add to that, our ticks, which are what gauge how much buying and selling literally is going on the NYSE, has all been, for the most part, sustained below the 0 line, which would kind of hint to us that there's across the board selling. Let's just take a look at one more tool here. I want to take a look at the weighted AD and see what kind of reading we get from that. Okay, so yeah, our weighted AD is firmly negative, and you can see from this chart, if you're looking on my screen, that we're seeing these sector bubbles are our sector lists, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sectors red, 2 sectors green. All right, so yeah, it looks like it's across the board. It looks like there's just selling across the board. Bo's trying to scalp a reversal, so we'll see. Hopefully that works out for him.
It's already not. I've already blown this account.
Oh God! All right. Well, you know what? Just reload. You'll be fine. 65.75 is the next target. I feel like I keep moving the goalpost. It's never a good thing, Manny. You know better. You're out of support. What are you doing? Think it over. But I like, it's hard for me to close stuff out and because I'm right, like when you're, I always hear it play over in my head. And this goes back to, actually it goes back to my high school baseball coach. When you're right, stay right. And so it's always difficult. And like I said before, never a right answer, never a right answer.
Well, I broke my rules, and that's when I break my account.
All right, guys. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Bo. So, what rule did you break? Do you want to? Is that something you feel like talking about, or you just want?
Oh, just my stop level. I just took too wide of a stop.
You slid your stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I've never done that. I've never done that. No, I'm not going. Yeah, I get it. I get it, because you never know, right? It's not an easy answer there. So I think that in trading, there are no, you know, I think trading education does a disservice to a lot of newer traders, in that they always say, "Oh, have your rules," and rules are linear and they're black and white. But so much of trading is ambiguous. So much of trading goes on in the gray zone, in between the lines. And so I typically tell, when I'm working with guys, I tell them, there are guidelines and then there are hard rules, right? So hard rules are the bigger things that we can control, like how many trades we actually place. Guidelines are a stop, right? Because sometimes you're reading the price action, you think, hey, my stop is in at said area, and a price could retrace, to a point behind it. I'll lose 3 points, and then it can reverse, right? So it's hard to say. I understand. I understand your position completely. Coming into that time frame now, guys. So I am going to go ahead and cover up very soon here. Just looking to take the chips off the table. I can always reload on a bounce. At the very minimum, I want to go ahead and lock some in now. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that 65 target. And I'm just looking at the order flow here. Yep. Yeah, we got some pretty good buying coming in, short covering, some buying. They're still refreshing offers though, quite heavily, right? So those buyers are running into traffic, stacking bids, stacking offers, and pulling bids. So if you're short, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see them stacking bids and pulling offers. Watching here intently. Time out. Give me 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that, guys. A little bit of an interruption there. No harm, no foul. Still moving lower here. Still moving lower. Do me a favor, if you're checking in on socials, hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know how we're doing. And if you're just joining us right now, we're tracking the ES. We are just moving lower on a liquidation break. I think Bo coined it earlier today. Said something of a straight line drop, something to that effect. I think I've heard that from him before, and that's what we're seeing here now today. We opened at 74.14. We only traded 3 points above that to 74.17, and ever since then, it's just been selling, retracement, selling, retracement. So we kind of have this intraday trend of lower highs and lower lows. Currently, I'm short 73.85.75, looking for 73.65.75 target for a 20-point gain. However, I am using the execution clock, and I will take a dynamic exit on this if I see any trouble, with the understanding that I'm not going to get the low or the high. In my 15-year career, 20-year, I don't even know. I think like 17 years I've been trading. That's happened very few times, maybe a handful of times where I've, one time I remember I exited at the very high of the long, and that was the high of the day. I had my order there. It got filled. I got lucky. but with the understanding that we're never going to catch the high or the low of any move. We don't need to. But if this 73, 70, 73, 76, 73, 72 support fails, Jesus, I'm looking at, let's see, yeah, it could be another, it could be another potential 20-point move down for the next support. So let's stay alert here. Let's watch it. Let me stay. Just because I said I don't need to get the high or the low of the day. Oh, got the target. Yes. 20 points on that one.
Nice.
Yep. Thank you both. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Let's see if we can get you in on something good here so we can kind of get that account back or get you funded.
Oh no, I'm done.
Oh, you're gonna stick to your guidelines, to your rules. I respect that. I don't need to trade again. If I'm giving it up and making bad decisions and blowing an account, like why keep trading? Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's an important thing that we're learning from Bo today, right? It's like, he's just saying to himself, I'm not seeing the tape well today. Why bang my head against the wall? Tomorrow's another day. And I respect that highly because, that's one of the lessons that I learned that took me way too long to learn. I wish I'd have learned that sooner. So I commend you for that.
Well, I mean, I saw everything great. I just decided to, to look for the reversal instead. And so then when that reversal trade doesn't work, and you take your stop, the last thing you want to do is then get into revenge mode and make it a lot worse.
Right.
So it's not really that big of a deal when you're trading a prop account and it costs you $60 or whatever. But you also don't want to just go piling back in and buying more and more prop accounts. Like you gotta take your break and make sure that you're not gonna just keep doing the same thing because it's just as easy to go on tilt with prop accounts as it is with your personal account. You can go in and spend however much. I mean, some of these people spend thousands of dollars. They buy 20 accounts at a time and stuff like that. And you're sort of kidding yourself a little bit. Like it's sort of like I tell people to be careful with copy trading. Like, you're not really like spreading your risk out. You're just finding a way to also put on bigger size. Right. So if you go in with a copy trade and you do something stupid and boom, you blow 20 accounts, and then the last thing you want to do is go back in and just start piling back into accounts again. It's a type of revenge and tilt that you definitely want to avoid. So the cool thing that I've loved now about Niels's platform, now he's got that risk manager on there, and it's awesome because you can set it so that you can lock out if you're in a performance account and you have profit that you're protecting. You can set it so that you can, if you hit your drawdown on the day, it locks you out, won't let you trade again, which is awesome. It's like, I wish I had that feature friggin' 15 years ago. Would have saved me a ton of dough.
All right, heads up. If you're just joining us, we're just tracking the ES. It's been somewhat of a liquidation break today from the Artemis move to the moon. Been straight up for, gosh, let's see. Let's track it. When was that 63.53 low? That was on March 30th. Okay. So yeah, it's been quite a while. This rally has been really strong. It's gone parabolic above, making new all-time highs. and it's been going on for just over 10 days. And what we're seeing here is kind of a just a micro pullback in this trend. Uh, we'll see if the high is in for an extended period, but it's hard to assess really once you get into all-time highs. So we're just going to keep tracking it here for you. If you have any comments, please drop it. Any questions, let us know. But ES is down currently almost 1%, trading down 71 points. The NASDAQ NQ is also down almost 2%, down 561 points. And the Russell is down 70 points, down 2.5% to 2808. So yeah, definitely a well-rounded liquidation break here. I wrote about this yesterday. I put it up on my X feed about why we could be seeing a liquidation break. I did not know we were going to break today. Did not be the first one to say that, but I have been seeing and noting some changes in the book, and I penned an article for the Mr. Top Step on the opening print on Monday, kind of calling for why I thought maybe this could be moving lower, getting a little bit longer in the tooth. So check it out. Go to MrTopStep.com and click on the opening print if you want to read more on that. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a reversal move. If you guys are following the execution clock, you know what time it is. So just stay alert here. Stay alert. I did take the reversal trade, but I'm taking it in micros. About to hit the first target on that. Let's just see where that is. Micros. See if I can get the target up there. I'm not willing to take it in ES. Not after I got that juicy profit. I'm just going to just trade the chart, but to limit the downside risk. And that's a great thing about micros, right? Is that micros can kind of give you, can give you exposure with limited downside or relatively limited downside. And now we're moving back. I hate counter trending, man. It's just such a waste of time. I don't know. It taps you out emotionally. Like it's always harder. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see if it plays out. Got to stick with it now. Conversely, I have an algo short trade in another account. So that one's short right here. I thought that one would get stopped out. So it's kind of like a hedge play, right? I got long some micros in the in a tertiary account. I didn't like this algo short. Short at the low of the day, short into the low of a clock turn. Never a good idea. Remember, these down days always are characterized by these sharp retracement rallies, right? Big liquidation break that follows, and then we get a sharp rally that kind of resets the deck. My God, my kid's gonna run me dry in Apple Pay requests. Thanks, Reverie. Thanks, Rev. Appreciate the comment. All right, go ahead and take the 1 point loss on this. Just not feeling it. I don't like that. So I got 1 point short, 1 point stop on this algo trade. I'm sticking with the micros though on the counter. Looking for 73.67. I'm looking for 5 points on the first, and then 10 points on the second. See if I can get it here. Thanks. Appreciate it, Rev. Yep. Appreciate it. Coming up into that first target. Let's see if I can get a fill at 73. I hate counter trending. I do. I swear. When I take a counter trend, it's because I just wasn't like, I like to be in the zone and just trade the tape. I know we're going to retrace. I have a feeling we're going to retrace, and I just hit it. But luckily enough, I only took it in micros. Even if it is a winner, I don't want to get into the habit of taking them in EOS. Not after you made your day.
Target filled.
All right, boom, got the first target on that. So +5 points on the micro counter trend long from 73.67. Now I'm looking for 73.74. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Ultimate target is 77. Always willing to leave a runner on, though. Runners are always a good thing. The thing is, you have to deal with the big challenge of runners is sitting through the retracements. So you got to kind of make up your mind that you're willing to accept nothing on the last contract and let it play out. And also be willing to understand that, hey, more times than not, that runner is going to break even. But whatever you decide to do, just stay consistent about it. Have an approach and stay consistent. Looking for, oh, wait, this target's wrong.
Target filled.
Oh, got it. All right, so I got an 8-point fill. I had my target wrong there, guys. So my bad on that. Oh, man, I'm just getting confused up here. I'm paying attention. All right, so got 8 points. So thus far 5 + 8, and I'm now looking for 77. Let me make sure that this one's right. Okay, so I don't like where this one is. What's this high here? 75.75. Yeah, we're gonna go 76.75 on this. Also tighten up the risk, bring that in a little bit. Yeah, so I guess that hot CPI print really was a sell the news event, right? Even though we had the fake move higher. So if you're just joining us at 8:30 a.m. today, the CPI number came out. It came in hot. Came in higher than expected. Which I think both spoke about this earlier. You know, we all kind of feeling it at the pump and at the grocery store, or even, you know, when you're ordering out, you can kind of feel how prices have gone up. You know, I don't think very many people are still. I know a few friends of mine who've said that they're canceling their Uber Eats accounts because they just can't afford it anymore. And so the CPI number came in hot. Initially, we had a pop higher, which was ultimately sold during the regular trading hour session. We're using SPYGATE to track the institutional activity. And remember, if you join Pitbull Traders, you get SPYGATE complimentary with your evaluation. So check it out. Go to pitbulltraders.com. Pitbull Traders is not we're not the biggest prop firm. We're also not the fastest, but we're the most consistent. We're the ones that are giving you our tools to trade with. We want to see traders get to payouts. We want to build a small contingent of consistently profitable traders. We feel that that's always been part of our ethos, part of why we started it. It's not to be the biggest. It's not to fund everybody. We don't want, you know, if you're tired of churning accounts, come check us out. Go to pitbulltraders.com where we share our tools and we share our experience. I mean, collectively, you have more than 50 years experience in that, in the Pitbull Traders orbit. So, all right, coming into that second target, let's see if I can get a fill at 76.75. It's kind of like right there on that at that LVN though. It's dicey. I should be ahead of it. I should be at 74.75 really. Let it play out now. I don't want to fiddle too much with it. But I do expect some of these single prints to fill. Single prints go all the way up to 73.90. I'm just going to put this up there for just for visual reference. 73.90, 73.89.50.
Target filled.
All right, got that second target. Got that second target. So happy about that. And at the price action here, and just wondering, scratching my head. I don't think that's the low of the day, guys. I really don't. I don't think 73.63 quarter is the low of the day. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Often am. Looking for 82.50 on the next one for 15 points. See if I can get lucky enough. And flip this on. I'm sure that's working. Okie dokie, I heard that. Of course, yeah, I was right. I should have. Let's see. Nope. Okay, still working higher here. I feel like we can run out of steam here at any moment. But I'm willing to let this one play out. I mean, it's just 2 micros, right? Oh, crap. I didn't even realize the time. All right. All right, guys. So it's 11:40. All right, everyone. So that's going to wrap it up for today. You've got the levels. You've got the timing. If you didn't, go check out my feed at Manny_trends.com. You can also follow Bo at Bo. What's your handle? Hey, Bo.
Oh, sorry. I'm at Bozier Parsons.
You can check him out on X. If you got anything out of this at all, please do me a favor, like, comment, or subscribe. If you want to go deeper into the execution clock or the market blueprint, shoot me an email, manny@pitbulltraders.com. Remember, stay patient, react, don't predict, and we'll see you tomorrow again at 9:10 a.m. for another morning game plan. Hope we kept you on the right side today, guys. Have a good one.